In this video, we're going to now connect and configure our cStor, in this particular case, a cStor10S system. So to do that, we need to configure the serial port initially, and then we can power up our cStor, and from the serial connection, we can configure and set up our IP address so that we can then access everything through the UI. So for this example, I've connected the cStor's serial port connection to my computer using the default settings. So we can actually need to configure our serial port with the following settings. So we want a baud rate of 115,200, 8N with one parity bit or no parity bits, and no flow control. That will give us a direct connection to our cStor via the serial port. But additionally, though, in this particular case, I'm using PuTTY, so there are a few additional settings that we need to set up. So from a UI perspective, we need to go to our window translation, and we need to make sure that our remote character set is set to an ISO 8859, and you can use whichever version you want, but this is because of the characters that are sent from the cStor need to be converted. So by default, this will be a UTF format. We need to change that to an ISO. Additionally, to make the console able to communicate back to the cStor, we need to modify our terminal keyboard settings. So we need to make sure that our functions and keypad are in the correct format. So in this particular case, I'm using an Xterm 216 plus format. Additionally, though, we also need to ensure that the application keypad, in other words, your local keyboard keypad settings, are defined to connect to the application and not normal, which is the default mode and characteristics. So with those configured and set up, we should be able to click on our dashboard on our console, and we should now have control of our application from within the system. So now, as you can see here, I can actually scroll up and down. I can see which version is installed. We can also look at our network and our remote management system, and some other options are available to us within the console. The one I'm interested in specifically is the network. So here we can change our current network settings. So if I hit enter here now, we can see currently my system is set up for DHCP, but we could, if we want to, change that to a static IP address. We can now type in our IP address, our net mask, our gateway, and our name server. And when we're happy, we can save that setting, and that will then restart the stack. For my particular case, I'm going to leave this in DHCP mode, and that should basically, if I save that or cancel in this particular case, I can now see what my current IP address is. So it's 172.16.55.12. So from that, I can now go and open a web browser to that particular site. So I can now open up that website. 172.16.55.12. Okay, and if I hit enter, now we can see we get our login prompt. Now, for the cStor that we're installing here, the default username is cStor, and the password is cStor PW. Okay, and we've connected and logged in.